Hey everybody, and thanks for tuning in to Bonsai by Alan. Today I'm going to work on this Gmelina, commonly called parrot's beak. And it took me a long time to realize that Gmelina was actually spelled with a G, but the G is silent, you don't pronounce it. This tree has almost no leaves, obviously, and it got really, I don't want to say damaged, because I don't think it's unhealthy, but it dropped a lot of leaves in a cold snap we had that was also accompanied by a lot of wind, tremendous amount of wind. And I have a number of these tropical trees, mostly Gmelina and Premna, and actually some ficus too, that really took a beating in that cold, even though it really didn't get down to anywhere near freezing. Anyway, one good thing about having no leaves is you can see the structure of the tree quite nicely. This tree was also featured in the video that I did on sacrifice branches. So this guy here is a sacrifice branch, and it's coming off today. It's time to remove that guy, and let's do that right now. And then move this guy out of the way. And if you look at the sacrifice branch, you see it's got some interesting movement all by itself. So I am going to take this and put it into my seaweed extract, let it soak, and then take it as a cutting. So when it comes to the tree itself, it's got pretty decent structure. Let's see if we can get the camera a little bit better. So right now we have a branch right here that's pointing straight out at us, but it was also shortened tremendously. I didn't cut it off, but I shortened it tremendously. But this branch and this branch and this branch are all basically parallel branches. So this is going to be one of my main branches. So I'm going to chop that guy off and just shorten this one quite a bit. We have a pretty good ramification on the first main branch. As you can see, it's doing quite nicely. So that just needs a little bit of a haircut. I am going to reduce this one quite a bit, because you see it was growing into there. But this just really needs just some minimal cutting back. Nothing real drastic. Then we have our back branch, which has some kind of wild growth coming here. So I'm going to take that off completely. And then that guy probably needs to be wired into place. So we'll do that. And I don't know if you can see, let me see if I can get a close up here, but there is little tiny leaves just beginning to sprout off of this guy. So he's coming. This is why I'm doing this work on him right now, because it's definitely responding to the warmer weather that we've had. And I've often wondered maybe I would make this the apex, but I think I'm going to keep this as the apex. So I'm going to shorten this guy like that. And just keep a little tuft here so to fill it out. We have a couple of good back branches. And then this branch needs a little bit of cut back. And I think I'm going to leave it as more of a slanting trunk, so this would be the apex. Because I could bring it like this and bring it back, but I think I'm going to leave that. Actually, I'm just going to cut those guys away. Oops! So there we go. Now when the new growth begins to elongate, then I can pinch it back and it will fill in beautifully. By June or July, you won't even recognize the thing. I'm also going to repot it. It has an amazing layer of moss. And I like the pot that it's in. Let's see if we can zoom out a little bit. Maybe just put the plant a little further back. So I like the pot that it's in. The pot and the tree go together well for me, so I like that. So I'm going to use the same pot. So basically just pull the tree out of there, clean the pot up a little bit, prune the roots, which will also mean removing most of the moss, and then I can just put it back on when I'm done. So let's see what we're up against here. Gmelinas are pretty aggressive rooters, and there you go. There's pretty good example of how aggressive they are. Coming right out of the bottom of the pot. So I'm going to need to cut that away before I could even get him out of there. Now he should just pop right out. As I said, should. Oh yeah, not bad. I can cut that now, but I'm going to cut at least about half of the roots. Who knows, I may even leave the moss. Just cut half the roots. Give it a little bit of extra soil. The pot needs to be cleaned up. So, and I don't have my soil with me, so I'm going to go get my soil, clean the pot up, and then we'll root prune this baby and put it back into the pot. The root pruning process is, I think this is just in a landscape mix, so I'm basically just going to chop about a third of the bottom of the roots off. I am going to put it into bonsai soil, although most of the top will still be in landscape mix. Yes, I know these are the scissors that I use for my trim in the top. Probably should have separate scissors dedicated to pruning roots. But at this point, we're going to go for it. As you get to the middle of the tree, there's a little bit bigger roots, but they're really not that big of a deal. Gmelina is not really tremendously hard wood. In fact, it actually grows very viney. Okay, there's your root ball. Cut him off, so he's going to go. Oh, and it is in bonsai soil. Oh, and look, and there's the old mesh. So Gmelinas are very aggressive rooters, so they will grow up and out of that mesh in no time. So that looks pretty good. And I do need to cut around the perimeter, because you notice I stuck it like that. It's not like in midair. So I need to cut all the way around the perimeter. And I can save the moss that's coming off in this stream. It's like a snake. Check that out. Whole thing came off in one big lump. Pretty interesting. We'll throw him over somewhere. Okay, now it'll go back in the pot. There we go. Now I pruned it over the pot, so I'm going to dump that out. And then what I like to do when I'm repotting is to add the fresh soil. Look at that root ball. See if I can pull this off. Bring my container with the soil, maybe like that. And I like to put the bonsai pot in the container so that when I'm filling the pot up, if any falls away, it just falls right back into the storage container and I don't lose it. So that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. I know it's a little high because it's on the storage container. And one other thing I'm going to do is give it A little bit of fertilizer. Not a lot. Just your basic slow release. So just, I'm going to put that down at the bottom. Position it in the pot. So you see it's still looking good. It really isn't any different than what it was. But the root pruning paradoxically creates new growth. It doesn't stunt the tree. Root pruning is not a stunting process. It's actually a rejuvenating process. And then make sure that you've got all of your air spaces in there, full of soil. Once again, my jack-of-all-trades scissors. I do have a little pokey stick, but of course, why would I bring it with me to do a video? One day I'll get my act together, right? But I do hope you like my styling and the way I think about trees. There's a little soil on the moss, but that's no big deal. Okay, that's about it. So now let's finish it up with getting the container of soil out of the way again. Putting the tree back on the bench. And panning it down a little more. There we go. Spring repot of one Gmelina. And I think this is going to be a pretty nice little tree. So there we go. Now we just need to grow it to grow out, fill in. And that will happen in no time at all. And I also a bit of water. There are ones where they're like a lot of pretty drought tolerant. So a lot of times I just put the whole pot into a tub of water. The water is just at the rim, so it doesn't really overflow. So that's the last stage. And then I honestly wire my trees into the pot. Like some people do, because I usually just more protected spot, and I don't have a problem with trees falling out of the pot or them in. So thanks for watching. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you subscribe, and you can watch the progress of this guy by clicking the notification bell. And I've got a number of these that all are pretty much in the same state, but they're all getting ready to be rehabbed. So that's it for this video. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.